Welcome to Manchester United Daily Updates. Before continuing this video, click the like button and subscribe to the channel to stay updated with the latest news from Manchester United. Scandalous Viktor Gyökeres' bizarre nightmare continues as Man United target slammed. Sporting CP striker Viktor Gyökeres is currently on his longest goal drought since the end of the 2023-24 season, amid continuous links to Manchester United. The 26-year-old failed to score in Sporting's 2-2 Liga Portugal draw with Arouca on Saturday night in what could be a huge blow to their title hopes. Benfica's 1-0 win at Santa Clara means Sporting are just 2 points clear at the top of the table. Gyokeres failed to convert any of his 5 shots against Arouca, with the green and whites relying on Francisco Trencaus's late equalizer to avoid a surprise defeat. It means the striker has now gone 4 games in all competitions without finding the back of the net, a rare feat for a player of his track record. He has scored 34 goals in 36 games this season, but has now failed to score in the previous 4 games against Nacional, Porto, Borussia Dortmund, and Arouca. It's the longest run without a goal since he went 5 without striking under Ruben Amorim at the back of last season. After scoring 6 goals in 4 games, Gyokeres failed to bag against Estrela Amadora, Benfica, twice, Gil Vicente, and Famalicão. He ended his barren run against Vitória Guimarães with a brace in a 5-0 thrashing. His below-standard performance came as speculation linking him with a move to United continues. A reunion with Amorim remains a possibility, but United are thought to be exploring other options before the summer. Gyokeres' performance on Saturday has led to criticism from the Portuguese press. Ebola, a popular outlet in the country, labeled the forward's miss in the 2nd minute of injury time as scandalous after he headed the ball past the open goal. According to reports, the Sweden international is suffering with an injury to his left adductor. CNN Portugal has claimed the problem has been present for a few weeks and is the reason why he had started just one of Sporting's previous 5 games before Saturday. Sporting travel to Germany to face Dortmund on Wednesday and will need a perfect performance from Gyokeres to turn around the 3-0 deficit from Man United predicted starting 11 versus Tottenham as Ruben Amorim deals with injury crisis. Manchester United face a big game in the context of their season this weekend as they take on Tottenham. The Red Devils have endured an absolutely awful campaign thus far, sitting 14th in the Premier League table. Luckily, they come up against a fellow struggling side in the form of Spurs. Ange Postecoglou's side have arguably been even worse this term, sitting 1 place and 2 points behind United. A win for either side then would go a long way in turning the tide. But unfortunately, United may have to do it with a side that has been utterly decimated by injuries. Defender Lisandro Martinez has already been ruled out for the remainder of the campaign with a serious knee injury. He has been joined on the sidelines by Ahmad, who has picked up an ankle ligament injury. Meanwhile, there are a number of problems in midfielder with Toby Collier, Kobbie Mainoo, Mason Mount, and Manuel Ugarte all ruled out. Luke Shaw, Johnny Evans, and Altay Bayındır are all also doubtful. With that all being said, take a look at the starting 11 that Mirror Football expects Ruben Amorim to field this Sunday. Andre Onana has been Man United's #1 goalkeeper since being signed from Inter Milan, and that does not look set to change this weekend, particularly with Bayındır ruled out. The 28-year-old will be hoping to improve his clean sheet record this term, having only notched 7 throughout the campaign. And despite a few changes set to be fielded in front of him, Onana will certainly remain between the sticks. Matthijs de Ligt. While he is a slight injury doubt, it does not seem serious enough to keep de Ligt restricted to the sidelines. The Dutchman replaced the stricken Lisandro Martinez against Crystal Palace and seems to be the most obvious candidate to replace the Argentine in the starting lineup. He dropped out entirely in the FA Cup win against Leicester but should be fine to return this weekend. Harry Maguire. On the topic of the win against Leicester, the hero from that game, Harry Maguire, now looks to be an automatic starter for the Red Devils. The defender seemed sure to leave the club under Erik ten Hag, but has firmly won the trust of his successor Ruben Amorim. Maguire has performed admirably at the heart of the Portuguese coach's back 3, and it would be a big surprise to see him axed against Spurs. Leny Yoro. While Yoro has had a mixed first campaign at Old Trafford, there's no doubt that he has a very bright future. After overcoming the injury issue that he arrived at the club with, the Frenchman has slowly but surely been establishing himself with United. Yoro has started 3 out of the last 4 games, playing 90 minutes against Crystal Palace in their last outing in the Premier League, only the second time he has done that since signing. And he should be in the starting 11 once again versus Spurs. Tottenham vs Manchester United Live confirms squad members plus early team news and how to watch. Manchester United will be eyeing a second straight victory when they face Tottenham Hotspur at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium in the Premier League this afternoon. Kickoff 4:30 p.m. United sneaked into the 5th round of the FA Cup last time out, coming from behind to beat Leicester City 2-1 at Old Trafford. Harry Maguire netted a very late winner after Joshua Zirkzee had earlier cancelled out Bobby de Cordoviere's opener. However, United have been struggling for form in the Premier League in recent weeks, winning just 2 of their last 8 league outings. They were beaten 2-0 by Crystal Palace in their last league game a fortnight ago. Having had more than a week to prepare for the clash with the Londoners, head coach Ruben Amorim will be hoping valuable time that has been spent on the training ground will translate into a good performance and a good result. The Reds are currently 2 points above Spurs in the standings. United have already been beaten twice by Ange Postecoglou's side this season and will be gunning for revenge. The bench may be stacked with kids. The swathe of academy players on the bench today is akin to some of the squads Erik ten Hag picked last year, and almost none of them got a kick. When Ethan Wheatley finally did, it was against the worst team in the league, Sheffield United, and the game was won. Those seem like halcyon days compared with this disaster class of a season from United. There is little to admire or like about the club, and much of that is down to the callous cabal from Ineos. Casemiro could get a rare start. Casemiro has played just 20 minutes for United in 2025, and he hasn't played a minute in the Premier League since his last start, which came against Newcastle at the end of last year. That game was supposed to signal the end of Joshua Zirkzee's United career, but it was actually the death knell for Casemiro's. Ruben Amorim has said he isn't suited to this system, but does he have to go back to the Brazilian today? United haven't got another senior holding midfielder in their squad, and playing Bruno Fernandes and Christian Eriksen there is a risk. Starting Seko Kone or Jack Morehouse would be a bold move. Amad is a huge loss. Since Ruben Amorim's first game in charge of United on November 24th, his team has scored 31 goals in 20 matches in 4 different competitions. Of these 31 goals, Amad has been directly involved in 11 of them, scoring 6 and assisting 5. Being directly involved in 35.5% of the goals United have scored under Amorim, the loss of the Ivorian to an ankle injury is a massive blow. He has been United's best player this season, and his stock has risen considerably. United were already short on attacking firepower, and now they are without their joint leading goalscorer, who has plundered 9 across all competitions this season. Can Marcus Rashford be recalled by Man United as transfer explained amid injury crisis? Manchester United will be scouring all of their options in the coming days after finding themselves short in attack following a disastrous injury to Amad. The Ivorian has been one of the shining lights in the United squad this season, but it has been confirmed he has suffered an ankle injury which could leave him out of the team for the remainder of the campaign. Both Antony and Marcus Rashford were loaned out in the winter transfer window as Ruben Amorim looked to reshape his squad. No attacking players were signed in January, albeit Patrick Dorgu does have experience as a winger. This means United have a threadbare squad to call upon, as things stand, to lead their attack. Unsurprisingly, supporters have suggested that Rashford should be recalled from his loan spell at Aston Villa to provide further options for Amorim. However, it would not be that straightforward. First of all, United would need to have included a recall option in the agreement with Villa earlier this month to bring Rashford back. Should that agreement be in place, United would only be able to activate it 28 days following the beginning of the loan spell. Rashford was confirmed on February 2nd, so the earliest he could be recalled is March 2nd. If no recall option was included in the deal, the winger will remain at Villa until the end of the season. There is also the matter of whether or not Amorim would want to recall Rashford. The forward was cast aside by the head coach after concerns regarding his attitude towards training and the system. Villa are understood to have a buy option in their deal with United, which means they can purchase him for a set price, believed to be approximately £40 million, in the summer. That would suggest Amorim would perhaps favor giving youth players a chance in the squad before considering a return for Rashford. Between being dropped for the Manchester Derby in December and leaving for Villa at the beginning of February, Rashford managed to make just one matchday squad. However, he was an unused substitute in the defeat to Newcastle.